Digital native versus digital immigrant. What are you? When you turn on a TV or a computer screen, you never really think about it. For some, it's second nature to press the power button to watch your favorite movie, or to watch the news to find out what's going on down the street from you. However, you never really think why it's second nature to you, right? Of course not. Because why think that when you're looking forward to watching Hell's Kitchen or something like that? So since you have the second nature, are you considered a digital native as opposed to a digital immigrant? Before you answer that though, I'll ask just one question. What does it mean to be a digital native or a digital immigrant? When you think immigrant, you think someone who has moved to a certain place and adopted that place's customs and way of life. So when you say a digital immigrant, does that mean that this person has moved to technology and learned how to use it in a later part of their life? What about a digital native? When you think native, you think about a person who was born into an area and learned the customs and way of life from birth, right? Almost as though they were born with a remote control in their hand, or born in front of a television screen. However, this isn't possible, right? No one alive today is born knowing technology and how to use it. How could they, when they don't even know how to work their own bodies? So does that mean that everyone today is a digital immigrant? So with that being said, what would you consider yourself now? Would you consider yourself a digital immigrant? Well, you might. However, you could still consider yourself a digital native if you wanted to, simply because you were born into a world where technology is all around you. Technology these days has become a daily part of our lives. You don't think about your phone in your pocket, or the TVs that you see almost everywhere, simply because you've been exposed to it your whole life. Just as the definition of native, you've learned technology from birth. Marc Prensky has written a perfect explanation about this digital native versus digital immigrant, which I will link down below. In this paper, he mentions that digital natives are these new students, those who rely on technology to learn the materials in class. So what about the digital immigrant? If all the students today are considered digital natives, what about the others? What about past students who didn't have all this technology at their disposal? Well, I guess we could call these people digital immigrants. People who were born before this digital age or digital revolution, if you will. Students who relied on a dictionary to look up a word or an encyclopedia to find something out. They were born in a time that technology wasn't incorporated into their daily lives as it is for the digital natives. Surely they had technology back then, but it wasn't as sophisticated as it is today. They didn't have a smartphone in their pocket or a computer at their disposal. They had books, such as a thesaurus or a newspaper. So as these new devices started to come out and everyone had to have one, they had to adopt them into their daily lives, just as an immigrant would do if they were to move to a new country. They had to adopt a new way of life into their existing life. So again, I ask you, do you consider yourself a digital immigrant or a digital native? I'll let you ponder that while I finish editing this video on my computer.